And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Wrestle Purists Face Off is fucking back. It's been a little bit of a while. Lost some friends along the way, I should say. No AO, no Isra today. They will both be back shortly. Isra will be back on the next show. But Wrestle Purists Face Off is back because we missed you guys. And I know you guys have missed your favorite debate show. There's been many super chats and messages and DMs. When is Face Off coming back? When are you guys going to get back to the debates? When are you guys going to go back to throwing some hands, going toe to toe? And the answer was today. We're back, folks. It is December. It's December 3rd, and it was time to come back because, folks, it's a festive period of the year. It's a festive time. It's holiday season. And what better way to celebrate the holiday season than enjoy a holiday month from yours truly at Wrestle Purists. So here's the deal, guys. We're going to do a couple episodes this month, and essentially it'll be slightly unconventional versions of the Face Off podcast. For those that have been familiar with the format, we usually do 3 debates, and then you guys vote on who won the debate, and we kind of have fun with that. But these will be slightly more informal because we're doing holiday specials.
Yes.
The first of which is tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about the best and worst of WWE in 2023. Essentially, we'll go through who are the best and worst wrestlers of the year, men and women, the best match of the year, the worst match of the year, and the best pay-per-view of the year. And it'll be me and Rob going toe-to-toe on all these topics. You guys can informally decide who you agree or disagree with in the chat. You guys can also obviously send super chats. And obviously the chat, it's Wrestle Pierce. You guys can send it about whatever you want. But also, I mean, we do encourage audience participation. So, if you want to weigh in on the topic, feel free to do so as well. But yeah, man, this will be the first of the holiday specials. There will absolutely be an AEW version of this. I will make sure AO will make the town for that. I didn't want to do that yet because the Continental Classic is still underway. It's still in progress. And World's End is coming up in a couple weeks. So when the year is fully in the books for AEW, we will absolutely do the best and worst of AEW in 2023. And that'll be a fun one as well. But nevertheless, we are back. Rob, what's up, man? Talk to me. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Ibu hit me up last night and said we were talking about the worldwide leader in sports and entertainment today. So, of course, I had to make sure I had to make the town to talk about, the leader in this sport we call professional wrestling, the World Wrestling Entertainment. But other than that, I am doing well. Just ready to talk the year in sports entertainment because there was a lot of good shows. There was a few bad shows, a lot of good wrestlers. Very, very much bad wrestlers, and today we're going to get into it. So I'm excited.
We are going to get into it. And listen, this has been a very eventful year for the World Wrestling Entertainment. A lot of good, a lot of positive trends this year for the company. But there's still certain things that I did think stunk. Certain wrestlers, in particular, certain matches. But I can't wait to unveil my picks for that. We're also going to decide which of the 3 shows was generally the best one this year. And I have a feeling my answer is very different from Robert's answer. And it's because we don't necessarily see eye to eye on a certain faction. So that's a little bit of a preview there. But yeah, man, 2023, best and worst of WWE's year. Guys, make sure to like the video, comment, send super chats. Because this is going to be a fun one. Again, audience participation is encouraged.
Yes.
But I guess before we go any further, I'm going to ask Rob a leading question. And while he gets into that, you guys can kind of let your super chats. You can start filing in your super chats because we'll read those before we really get into the awards. Rob, as an overall overview, what do you think of WWE's year in 2023? Do you think this is a thumbs up positive year? Or do you think it's generally a negative year? Talk to me about what you feel about the company this year.
I think it was a positive Not all the way around, but I think it was a positive for the most part. For like 85%, 90% of it, I think it was a positive, and here's why. Um, Last year, WrestleMania was in March and or March of 2022, and they were in the remind me of what the capacity was for the Astro. They were in the Astrodome, right? For
Wait,
WrestleMania?
2022 last year?
Yeah.
They got like 60 something thousand people in there.
But I think the capacity was like
100.
80, yeah,
Yeah.
100,000. And so
Yeah.
it was clearly because the booking that was going on in terms of leading into WrestleMania and what they were how they were promoting it and basically getting you excited for it was dog shit. Everybody knows that Vince era things were dog shit. And so I think 2023, especially since it was the first really Triple H ran year, I know
Top
through
to bottom, yes,
yeah,
compared to last year,
I
yes.
I know throughout, like, the beginning of the summertime, it was kinda wonky because we didn't know whether Triple H was there or not because Vince McMahon kept showing up like fucking Shadow Reaper, but needless to say, I think other than that, like, this year, um, for example, WrestleMania 39 was pretty much almost basically sold out in February, not let alone March. SummerSlam was already, I think, pretty much, for the most part, sold out. Um and they basically sold out every not almost every big like not big venue that they've been in terms of arena standpoint. They basically sold it. They basically almost sell out every Raw, almost sell out every SmackDown. Plus the TV, Raw so much in TV standards, the ratings were really like half and half. But like SmackDown was going crazy with the ratings this year, and so it was just. And also, I think the way that we've built superstars this year and the way that talent has been built up and the way talent are getting over this year is miles ahead of where we were in the last 2 to 3 years. So
Mhm.
I think all around in terms of fan investment, in terms of building stars, in terms of selling out buildings and arenas and ratings, I think that this year was definitely positive for WWE.
That was very well said, Robert. That was very, very well said. I'm sure your partners over at Stanford would be very happy with that speech right there. I look. I tend to agree, generally speaking. I mean, look, the numbers say tell the story. They're up year over year in most major metrics, and for better or for worse, whatever you want to say about how the company approaches everything, I think they tell the story, and they tell you a lot. The reason why business is up, the reason why TV ratings are better, and the reason why ticket sales are better is because they put on a product now that people enjoy more than the product that they put on a year ago. I
Right.
think that creatively they have the trust of WWE fans more so than they did before because they're more consistent in following up with people's pushes and creative directions. And I think above all else, they're just a babyface company now. You go to
Right.
the shows and there's a bunch of good guys at the top of the card that people are willing to pay to see because they know that these people are guys that they can believe in and cheer for. You go to a Raw and you're going to see, like, for most of the year, you go to a Raw and you see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Cody
Yep.
Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And with those top four guys, they're going to open and close the shows. They're going to beat the bad guys. They're going to generally win their matches.
Yep.
At a core fundamental level, a wrestling promotion needs to have hot and over baby faces that people can believe in. People that you buy a ticket, you bring the family, you bring your kid, your girlfriend, whoever, and they're the people that drive the business. WWE for so long had been a heel leaning promotion where the top of the card was led by the heels and the baby faces weren't that over, and you kind of ran through challengers. But realistically, dude, that's what works in wrestling. Right now between LA Knight, Jay Uso, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes,
Right.
it's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to top baby faces. And I think this year, more than a lot of the recent ones, they just book their top guys really strong. They're very
Yeah.
over as a result, and they put on a product now that's consistent, that's logical, and again, it's one that people want to see. And so I would agree with you that it's been a positive year for the company just from that base fundamental level, and that's why. That bare minimum, just them following that bare minimum, has led to, in my view, honestly, the best top to bottom main roster year for the company since like the early 2000s. That's just kind of how I see
I
it.
tweeted you know what's crazy is I tweeted this like 2 months ago. It was
Okay.
around the time Cena basically was around for like 2 months.
Okay.
I said there's no wrestling promotion that could ever say they started with John Cena, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio in the first hour of their TV show, and that's what's kind of, because you notice how it was, like you said, it started with the baby faces and everything. Like
Yeah.
SmackDown had a period of time, especially during the fall, where it started like that, where it was just like, okay, send out the Jimmy Uso and Solo and Paul Heyman. All right, send out Roman Reigns. All right, send out LA Knight. All right, send out fucking John Cena and all these other fucking stars on the show. And it's just like, dude, all this fucking star power within the first 10 minutes of the show. And so we were getting that last year. Last year we were getting shitty fucking 2-minute matches to start out the show.
And the
And
thing is, the thing about it, though, Rob, is
yeah.
people are as valuable as you make them, because Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins were in the company 3 years ago. You know, a lot of these people that are effective for them now were there a couple of years ago. But the thing about personnel is they can provide what you set up for them. It's about putting these people in the right positions to be effective for your company. And they reestablished the value. They rehabbed the value. They rejuvenated the values of people like Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. And that's a testament to booking. Dominic Mysterio being as over as he is and being as effective as he is in the product and being somebody that actually moved the needle for ratings on NXT, that's booking. Because
Right.
just the on paper talent of Dominic Mysterio, you can't just throw that out and like it. He is somebody that moves the needle for the company because of what they've
No,
done
right.
creatively. That's literally booking, regardless of how you feel about him. So
And it's
again,
like bits, like you said, like it's like bits aside. Like a year ago, we thought he wasn't going to be anything because he was still bad in the ring. He was like, he had no aura, no charisma, no personality. Like a year and a half ago, and to see what the booking has done to him in a year and a half, it's kind of like, it makes you wonder what we would have gotten with him eventually if Vince was never gone.
it's a weird thing with him because he's still like he's not fucking Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, like he's not
But
fucking a top five
what
worker
they've
in the
been able
world.
to do is weaponize what he does provide, and they understand how the fans feel about him, and they use it to their advantage, and they use the heat to get other people over, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But with that said, Rob, let's start firing up these super chats because the people are waiting. Let's get
Yep.
into these, and then let's get into the awards.
Henry Kissinger, $5. Ibu, Nancy Reagan is down here too. She says to send you her regards.
I will not accept them.
No, that's not what Ibu said privately.
I don't know about.
Darren Walker with £5, right? Yeah, pounds. Worst WWE mistake was letting the great Top Dollar go. He could walk the top rope like Undertaker. He could fly over the top rope like Rey Mysterio. I don't know about all that.
I don't know what show. I don't know what Top Dollar that Darren Walker is watching, but send me clips of that Top Dollar. I'd like to see that version of Top Dollar.
Yeah. And for the culture. Darren Walker, £2. Ibu, who stole your food at work on Thursday?
I don't fucking know, guys. Let me tell you guys a story. In case you missed this, I told the story while I was in I was at break at work. I was on break at work on Thursday, and I was in the live chat listening to the Russell Pierce podcast like I always do on Thursday, and I explained why I was so upset because basically I worked a whole shift. I was on my break. I expected to eat my beef stew with rice that I left in the work fridge. I come to the fridge and my food is gone. Somebody took my fucking food. And so I had to buy fucking cup noodles and warm that bitch up. Do you know how upsetting that is, Rob? When somebody takes your food and you have
See,
to settle for ramen noodles?
that's why when I work places, that's why I don't bring lunch, bro, because I might
This
have
is
to fuck some
right.
people up.
I was yelling in that. I was like, "Yo, who took my shit? Who the fuck took my shit?" You see niggas
Yeah.
holding their sandwiches, looking up like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm like, who the fuck took my
You got one nigga sitting there. I got a sandwich, bro. I don't know what you talking about.
yeah. Like one of the dudes held up gesturing at me like I got my shit. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Who took my food?
Yeah, that's cool and all, but where's my shit at?
Where's my shit? But that's kind of what happened there. It is what it is, guys. Again, I'm looking at it. We have 183 live viewers already, kind of walking
Yes.
in.
Make sure you go.
Appreciate you guys for coming by. Please like the video. Again, this is
Thank
how I pay
you.
my bills. So, Darren, thank you for
Um,
that.
let's see. Next super chat. Zayd Natty 199. Logan is the
D
what is D of the year?
douchebag,
What is
dickhead.
douchebag of the year? Absolutely. His favorite Gunther is the WWE wrestler of the year. If you were to call Gunther the wrestler of the year in WWE, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that.
You should, and he's amazing. Uh, yeah, Logan Paul. Interesting year for Logan Paul. He had a hot start to the year. He had the Royal Rumble appearance. He had the match with Seth Rollins, which was very good at Mania. He what else did he do? He was at the Money in the Bank ladder match. I remember that. And then SummerSlam, he had the Ricochet match, and then he had that match at Saudi with Rey Mysterio, which was very disappointing, to be honest with you. We later found out that Rey Mysterio was working with a torn meniscus in his knee. But yeah, Logan Paul's the United States champion, and as we saw on SmackDown, he's doing a tournament where 8 people will have the chance to vie for an opportunity at his title. So he
Yep.
obviously had a positive year for himself, and he's a champion. So that's the deal with Logan Paul. Zay, thank you so much for the super chat.
Alrighty. Hush 199. Best wrestling show, WrestleMania Night 1, but Survivor Series 23 has the feels.
Interesting. We'll get into it. We will
Yeah, we will talk
absolutely
about
debate
this.
what is the best pay-per-view of the year. I think I'm pretty set on what my choice is, but yeah, we'll definitely get into that. Definitely get it.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Hush.
Will Chisholm at $10. Do y'all know if Triple H hates damage control? I ask because having Kyrie lose to Bianca doesn't look good. Or is he selling that it will make sense when the story plays out?
My answer to this is I think in his mind, it's all a part of the process with the
It's
story that
all a part of what we do.
it's what we do. This global brand that we have, be these guys are tremendous talents. I'm a big fan of what Kyrie brings to the table. I love what Bailey is doing. The story isn't over. You have to
You know,
understand that there are more chapters and layers to the story that we're building in this global brand.
because we always say we don't make plans. We make movies.
We make movies, we tell stories. This is just the beginning of this story. Thank you, Will. I think it's bullshit that Kyrie lost, and the match was really bad.
Yeah, it was bad. You could tell that this is not a SmackDown review, but we could
No,
tell that there was no real chemistry.
no.
Hopefully they can have a better match in the future.
Yeah,
Uh,
they need to do. I would have had them on a house show loop for 2 weeks before taking it to TV, because
100%.
especially with like the Joshis and Bianca, like they kind of need that flow, that chemistry, and then usually after a couple weeks doing it at the house shows, they kind of have a match that they could do on TV that'll be smooth.
I
That's why.
fucking you're different from me. I would have did the house show loop and I would have had them in the ring all fucking day. Like Maven be saying, like Johnny Laurinaitis told him, get in the fucking ring, kid.
Yeah, they were not on the same page, and it led to a disaster of a match. I don't think it's an indictment on either wrestler, like some people on social media kind of want to take it as. I think it's just one of those things where it's a bad night at the office, and they just weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that the second time out and eventually the third time out will be better matches, because you can't get much lower than you got on Friday. Hush, $5. Assuming everyone is healthy and Mercedes comes in, what's the ceiling for 2024 WWE? Can I peak higher? Can it peak higher than some Attitude Era years? We'll see. We'll see. They have a lot of star power and they have a lot of international shows. And those international shows always have a different vibe and atmosphere than the American pay per view. So I don't see their business slowing down anytime soon, at least up until Mania. We'll see how it goes into the summer. But I think the best version of 2024 WWE is one where Gunther's in the main event scene. Cody Rhodes is a champion closing these shows internationally. And CM Punk is having a great return run. So we'll see which version we get.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Sorry. That last one, should become a comedian. Um, but thank you for the super chat. Will Chisholm, $10. If you're Triple H, would you tell Bailey stop teasing Mercedes on social media because our fans think she's coming? unless Bailey knows more than we know, because it's looking scary with them teases.
Would I tell the talent to stop teasing people if they're not coming? Yes, I would tell talent to stop teasing if they're not coming. Triple H has not told people either way about Mercedes. He just does what he does. So I guess
Yes.
that's something to continue to monitor. Mercedes is a very vague and unpredictable person. She's being very vague on social media on Friday. It seemed like she was overtly referencing her match with Kyrie, which some people took as, oh, that means she's not coming back. But we have to remember that prior to her debut at Wrestle Kingdom last year, she was just straight up going. She was just liking and following, New Japan and Stardom pages and stuff like that, and she just was
Yeah.
just doing Mercedes shit. You can't get a read on what she's gonna do based on her social media. She's just a very unpredictable person. So we'll see what happens in 2024 with her. Maybe she comes back. Maybe she doesn't. I'd personally like her to continue fleshing out what she was doing in Japan. To be honest with you, because I don't think she really
Yes.
got to fully live out her potential there. Uh,
Also, it could be if you keep teasing as a talent that these talents are coming in on social media. Like, yes, we all know that Bailey personally knows Mercedes more than we know her, but it's like
right.
it could also cause a major indictment on the company as to where it's like you got these talents believing that these people are coming in, and you got these people believing that these people are coming in. Now they're not. It's just like, well, what the fuck?
What I'm
You know?
curious about is if she is genuinely coming back. I'm curious if it leaks or if they handle it like CM Punk, where nobody fully knows for sure until the day of. So we shall see on that. We shall see. I'll tell you this.
I think it's the day of.
Not to be cocky. I think I might be able to get the jump on the sheets if it's happening. I don't want to promise this for you guys, but if it's happening, I feel like I'll be able to get the insight on that. We shall see. We shall see.
So you guys know you get to whoop his ass if it doesn't happen on
It's not
social
about
media.
whooping my ass. It's more about what I'm saying is if it's
No, I know.
happening, I think I'll be able to find out before everybody else. But we'll see. Everybody else that's in like the
Peach
quarters.
said that lady is a troll who gets her friends to help her troll.
She's definitely just an interesting person. Is what I will
Alrighty. And the last super chat for now, Henry Kissinger, $2. Hunter definitely reminds me of my younger self. I don't I don't know if that's a I don't know if that's a good thing, but
say.
you know,
Didn't that nigga just die?
oh yeah.
Tough break, nigga.
All right, thank you guys for all the super chats for now.
Mhm.
Please remember to like, super chat, and subscribe. We are currently at 189. Let's get the video to 100 likes by the
Get it to
time we
100
hit.
likes. Let's get to 200 live viewers. Let's spread
Let's
the
do
video
it.
around. Share the links. Tweet about it. Tell your friends. Tell your loved ones that we're
Right.
live talking about the best and worst of WWE in 2023.
The worldwide leader in sports and entertainment, the World Wrestling Federation.
So here's the deal, folks. I was taught to usually do things ladies first, and so
What the fuck?
let's no. So what we're gonna do, Rob, is the first thing we're gonna discuss is who is the women's MVP of WWE this year. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Okay, so what's the criteria that we're doing for MVP?
What is the criteria for MVP? Most important to the product, most valuable to the product, most effective person on the show. You can match quality can be factored into this if you want to factor match quality. Obviously, if certain factors are so exceedingly high over others, you can think of that. Like for example, if someone's like such a key pivotal character, but their matches don't line up, but someone else maybe had better matches this year, so much so that it supersedes the other person's star power, you can value that. But yeah, man, match quality, presence, star power, impact on the TV, the work they've done on TV, the work they've
Mhm.
done for the promotion, drawing power, all of that stuff. It's all of these things encompassed. Who is your women's MVP, Robert?
Now, I know people know that I'm a huge Judgment Day mark and that I'm a huge Rhea Ripley mark.
If you believe
Oh,
yours.
absolutely. That song is in my phone on several different platforms. But
That's unfortunate. I bet you was on your Spotify Wrapped.
oh, absolutely. But
You're disgusting.
I'm real. Um, but actually have a different women's MVP in mind. And my women's MVP for this year, the chat has mostly said it, is Becky Lynch. Now, I know what people are going to say. Yeah, Rhea Ripley has been viral here, viral there. yada yada yada, etc., etc. She had the match with Charlotte, this, that, and the third. That's fine, right? Whatever the case may be. Alexa Jizzle just said, if you count ratings or merch and business. But in terms of what has happened over the course of the year, in terms of what Becky Lynch has done, Becky Lynch was part of the reason why NXT was getting the ratings that they were get. Before
Mm.
Dom showed up, before Judgment Day showed up, before any of those people showed up, Becky Lynch was the one that got NXT to almost a million overall rating. I'm pretty sure one of the episodes she did, the highest demo on the show or the highest rated quarter on the show, it was her quarter at 1 million viewers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Becky has also helped, has had so many, like, we all expected that Trish Stratus or Becky Lynch match. We didn't know if it was going to be good or bad,
Hmm.
and it ended up being one of the best women's matches on pay-per-view all year. But then what Becky did was afterwards she went down to NXT. She won the NXT title from Tiffany Stratton, and everybody was like, "Why did she win the title from Tiffany Stratton?" Then she proceeded to go on every NXT episode, every Raw episode, and defend it against multiple talents that were just sitting and catering or doing absolutely nothing. And she proceeded to give each and every one of those talents probably the best matches of, if not one of the best matches of their entire career. She gave Xia Li the best match of her life. She gave Indy Hartwell the best match of her life. She gave Tiffany Stratton two of the best matches of her entire career. Um, it's just like with Becky, man, sometimes it's like kind of iffy with the storylines and the stories that she presents herself in. But every time she gets in a big match, she just delivers. She just delivers. And it's just like, so, you could say Rhea Ripley in terms of numbers, but in terms of production and actually helping out other talent, I'm going to go Becky Lynch.
That was a very good and well articulated argument. It's unfortunate that you're going to force me to go against Becky Lynch, who is a great performer, someone who's very effective for the company, somebody who's helped a lot. And she did all the things that you said. She popped ratings. She helped a lot of underneath talent. She helped NXT. She had a lot of very good matches. But Robert, here's the thing. There's only one wrestler in the company that, especially in the women's division, that moved the merch, that moved the needle, and that was as pivotal to their show, and that was Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is WWE's women's MVP. You want to know why, Rob, that she was the women's MVP? She was the women's
Why?
MVP because she was the main character of Monday Night Raw. You heard correctly. I said that. It was not Cody Rhodes. It was not Sami Zayn. It was not Kevin Owens. It was not Seth Rollins. The main character of Monday Night Raw was Rhea Ripley, the unofficial leader of Judgment Day and the person that made every single major storyline on the show move and shake. She is, you know how Jay White calls himself the catalyst? Rhea Ripley creatively was the catalyst on WWE programming. Rhea
Okay.
Ripley was the person that was on every opening segment. Rhea Ripley was the person that helped make Dominic Mysterio an effective act because
Okay.
those two are the actual keys to Judgment Day. It's not Finn Balor, it's not Bobblehead, and it's not Damian Priest. It's Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, and she is mommy. Rhea Ripley is super over. Rhea Ripley moves the merchandise. Rhea Ripley is the most engaged with wrestler on TikTok. You heard correctly. The most engaged with wrestler on TikTok. And she's the person that's getting new fans to tune in. And again, like I said, creatively, she's moving. She's got things moving and shaking. Because you look at every major storyline, most of them on Monday Night Raw run through Rhea Ripley in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. Notice, Rob, when Judgment Day visited SmackDown, right,
Mm-hmm.
to take the dealings with Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, it wasn't Damian Priest negotiating with Paul Heyman. It was not Dominic Mysterio negotiating with Paul Heyman, nor was
Okay.
it Bobblehead. It was Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is the most important character on Monday Night Raw, the flagship show, and she won the Women's Royal Rumble this year. And she was in a major world title match at WrestleMania. And you know what she did, Rob? She had a match with Charlotte Flair that, quite frankly, was one of the greatest women's matches in the history of the promotion.
Yes,
Absolutely
four and
sensational.
three quarters. I gave
They
that
beat,
match.
they beat the living fucking shit out of each other. It was so good that Charlotte looked like a great wrestler again. And looking at the rest of her catalog for the rest of the year, Charlotte's match quality was nowhere near the stratosphere that she was reaching in that match against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley
Mhm.
is a big match wrestler. She's a bright lights performer, and because of how important she was metrically, I think she is the women's MVP of WWE for 2023.
You know, I really did like the way you presented that argument, and I would agree with you on most points, except let's talk about that premium live event match quality, brother. Let's talk about it. Now, sure, she had no. Now, sure, she had one of the best matches on the biggest premium live event of the year. Wrestle. Why do I keep calling it that? I feel disgusted calling it that.
Because you work for
She
Stanford.
she had yeah, that's right.
You probably
She
say
had
WWE Universe unironically.
don't check. Don't let my message get leaked. But anyway, she did have a great match on, one of the biggest pay-per-views all year. But let's talk about how she had a 5 minute. Not, I don't even think it was 5 minute. I think it was a 3 or 4 minute match against Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico, which it
The
was
match that
good.
happened.
Yeah, yeah, it was fine for what it was, but it was literally 5 minutes. I don't even remember if she did anything at Money in the Bank. Did she do anything at Money in the Bank? I think it was Natty, right?
No, she faced Natty at Saudi. She squashed her. They
Oh
had a
yeah,
Raw. The
another
rematch.
squash.
The rematch on Raw was the best match of Natalia's career.
Yes. Um. SummerSlam. What did she do at SummerSlam?
She did not have a match.
She did not. She didn't even have a match at SummerSlam. I think she was removed from SummerSlam.
Correct.
The payback match with Raquel Gonzalez. While I liked the match was not heated at all. Very, very, very clumsy spots within the match. Let's talk about the fast lane. Did she do anything in fast lane? I think she got kicked off of I think she got moved off of fast lane as well. And then the Survivor Series, the 5-way at Saudi was really good. I like that match.
It was a good
But
match.
the Zoe Stark match that we just watched last weekend at Survivor Series, I didn't really like that match. And I know, and wasn't really a good match either. So it's like, yeah, when you present Rhea Ripley, it's like, yeah, she's viral on all these platforms. She's doing all these things, right? And she's a main character on Monday Night Raw, as you said. But when
Mm-hmm.
I take the MVP, I also take pay-per-view performances and that criteria as well. And I just think overall Becky has had a more consistent, other than the No Mercy Extreme Rules match with Tiffany Stratton. I know a lot of people like, but I liked it, but some of the spots were eh. But I think Becky has had more of a consistent pay-per-view run this year than Rhea Ripley.
Listen again. I'm not even going to disagree with you that Becky Lynch has had more good matches this year than Rhea Ripley, but she is nowhere. She does not have the same impact on the product right now that Rhea Ripley has. Becky Lynch is literally having to wrestle people in catering to kind of have to be, essentially stay busy because the top spot is occupied by the bigger star right now. Rhea Ripley is a bigger star than Becky Lynch in 2023. And as a result, Becky Lynch has to kind of keep herself busy by wrestling people like Indy Hartwell and Xia Li. And because she is talented, she can impart some level of meaning to these matches that would otherwise not have meaning. But that does not mean she has been as impactful as Rhea Ripley. So that's kind of my big retort. Plus, again, like I said, Becky's cumulative match quality is higher than Rhea Ripley's. However, between the two of them, the best match is on Rhea Ripley's side because, again,
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania is one of the best women's matches that the company has ever produced. Folks, folks. I'll
Hold
let
on,
you
hold on.
guys decide. What's up?
Boy, are we ending this? Or are we moving on? Or are we
Yeah, that that
okay?
that was that
Cool.
for the women's
You want me
wrestling.
to put up a poll and tweet it out?
Yes. Put a poll up and say who won the.
I'm gonna put the link in the
Listen,
chat as well.
listen. you got to word it a certain way. Not you don't ask the crowd who was the women's MVP. You just say who won the debate, Ibu or Rob. That's all you say. Who won the debate, Ibu or Rob? You throw the link in the chat, and then they vote. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Make the tweet, post it in the link, and post the link in the chat, and then we'll kind of just let the votes pile over.
Alrighty, I got you. Give me 1 second. Okay, should I put Ibu and put who you picked, or just you?
No, just who won the debate. It'll be
Okay,
for people
cool.
who are watching the stream. You don't want people not watching, just simply voting.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the link to the
Peach
stream
is saying
right
links
there.
do not show up in the chat. Is that true?
Let me see. Give me 1 second. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna put the YouTube link. And then we're how long are we running this poll for?
let's do it
Few
for
minutes.
about 5 minutes. Did you post the link, Rob?
All right, it is posted. All right, I'm about to put it right in the chat.
Yeah, do it.
All right. And the link is posted. Please go to my page at SR Paragraph, PROGR.
Oh, I thought you meant you're gonna post it. You're gonna post it on the in the live chat of YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna post it here too. I'm gonna copy it and post it here. I think it shows up when you put the mods put it in there, because
Somebody post Rob's fucking tweet, because this guy can't work.
it's right. It's literally right there.
There we go. All right, I was about to snap.
You're just wrong.
Fuck you. Let me vote for myself real quick here.
What the fuck?
Let me just quickly vote for myself, and then we can proceed here. Ibu won the debate. Let's vote for myself right here. We got 25 votes. Yeah, let's bring those numbers up, folks. The link is in the chat, and yeah. In the meantime, Rob, we'll go right into the next one. This will be a shorter one, but who do you think was the least valuable player for the women this year?
Well, there is one woman that won a certain women's championship during the weekend of WrestleMania weekend, and did absolutely nothing with this championship, and then proceeded to go up to the main roster and do absolutely nothing post winning that championship. And my least valuable player for women for 2023 is Indy Hartwell. Now, I don't hate Indy Hartwell. I have no ill will towards Indy Hartwell. But needless to say, everybody called that during WrestleMania weekend, it was going to either be Roxanne or Tiffany Stratton. Nobody. Wait, hold on. Nobody called that Indy Hartwell was going to win that match.
She's really bad.
If you say Indy Hartwell was called to win that match, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to America. You should feel bad, most of all, for lying to America. She had no impact on the product. Ronda at least did have some sort of impact on the product. At least she did things. At least she moved some people. There are people that can't even say Indy Hartwell didn't. That title reign didn't move anybody. It didn't help anybody. It didn't boost anybody. It didn't work. It didn't work. Ronda Rousey, in having the program with Shayna Baszler, it kind of sort of helped elevate Shayna Baszler back into being to her old form and people kind of respecting her again. But Indy Hartwell has not.
Why
had
is
that same
an Indy Hartwell truther? Like, what's going on here? Like,
I'm so confused as to why there are so many Indy Hartwell truthers. Like, this is crazy.
She's really bad. Yeah, she's really bad. She
didn't do shit for Shayna. She literally put her over at one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year in SummerSlam. In front of 50,000 people.
Indy wrestles like her soul has just been put into that body, like for the first time, right before she's going out into the ring, and she doesn't know like how to use the body fully.
Dude, ever since somebody in one of our group chats said Indy Hartwell wrestles like she's in pain. I can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's crazy. We won't vote on this one, but yeah, I think the worst women's wrestler of the year is Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey had an interminable, I think that's a word, run, her second run in WWE. I thought it was
Yeah,
awful. It was fucking terrible.
I can't argue with that.
There wasn't a single good promo except the recorded pre-tapes leading up to Shayna Baszler. Her actual last match in WWE, the MMA rules match, was a disaster. It wasn't good at all. The crowd didn't care. They didn't even know what to make of what they were watching. And I couldn't tell you a single match all year that was any good. I thought just from a wrestling standpoint, she was terrible. Her own work was so bad that she completely diminished her star power. And she went from being someone that the company prioritized creatively to somebody that they just said, fuck it, I guess you're just going to be in the tag division because you're not worth pushing at a main event level. And that's why she had a nothing happening tag team match at WrestleMania. And she just did tag team division stuff for the rest of the year until her run was over. And none of it was remarkable. None of it was particularly good. And again, like I said, no good promos, no good matches, no good angles. Nothing that she brought to the table in 2023 was of any value. And so I think Ronda Rousey absolutely desecrated any remaining reputation she had
Yes.
or credibility as a good wrestler. I think that completely evaporated this year.
Oh yeah, I can't argue with this, and I said it before, just like Kale just said. I think she diminished and ruined her star power so much as to where she got announced for that indie when 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, if she was announced for that indie, it would have did 2,000, 3,000 flat in like 10, 15 minutes. And in like 10
Maybe.
minutes, the tweet only had like 90 likes.
Right. Somebody in the chat said Raquel versus Ronda on SmackDown was good. That was at the end of last year, my friend. That was in December of 2022.
I don't even remember it.
Rob, who won this debate? Who won the poll? Let's find out here. I'm sure the WrestlePeers Galaxy came through for your boy, and they did not. Rob won.
Alrighty, I'm about to put up the poll now. Let me open
This is bullshit.
this window and show the people. Share
Go fuck yourself.
screen.
Go fuck yourself.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
I
do
think
it.
go fuck yourself. I don't know. I think you should go fuck yourself.
And there it is, folks. The winner of the debate of WWE's MVP of
This is bullshit.
2023, myself, with the choice of Becky Lynch.
This is deeply unfortunate.
I just speak the truth, and it was so hard for me even doing this. For the simple fact that I like Rhea Ripley and I'm a huge Judgment Day mark, but I have to tell the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. And I just think that Becky, has done way more for the women's division right now than Rhea Ripley has. Yes, Rhea Ripley is the main character. But she's given catering women. Fuck Indy Hartwell, Xia Li. There are people that are not even known to anybody that she's given great matches. So,
yeah, she has had a good year. It's unfortunate. I thought that I had a better debate. I thought I had a better argument than you, but I get it. The rest of Pierce Galaxy, they have to root for the underdog and cheer for the underdog here. So
what the fuck?
I get it. I get why these things happen, why these things go the way they go. Nevertheless, folks, we're gonna go right into what the best WWE match of the year is. The best match of the year and the worst match of the year. Rob, I would just prepare some polls there for you, because these are going to be interesting debates here. I'm going to
give me 1 second. What's the next topic before you tweet it out?
All you got to say is who won the debate of best WWE match of the year.
Alrighty.
Don't put the poll out. Just prepare to post it. Right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Draft it.
What was the WWE match of the year? We debate now. This is very unprofessional, but anyways, guys, there's been a couple of very notable matches this year for WWE. I thought WrestleMania had a lot of WWE's best matches this year. I thought Backlash was a really fun show, And Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest was an absolute spectacle. Some people would argue that the amount of heat that was in the building for Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns was just unreal, which it was. I mean, the atmosphere in Montreal for Roman and Sami was crazy. I'm sure some people would say, hey, man, the women's war games, the ladies showed out to an amazing degree. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had a hell of a Steel City street fight in Detroit at Payback against the Judgment Day. Some people were huge fans of the Bloodline tags, the Bloodline Civil War tags. Some people were fans of Roman and Solo versus Sami and Kevin Owens. All these things, I see the arguments for all these things. Some people were huge fans of the triple threat for the IC title at WrestleMania, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. I enjoy all these matches to varying degrees, Robert.
Yes.
But the best match this year, oh my God, Chad Gable versus Gunther 3 at Monday Night Raw. Phenomenal TV match. I enjoy all these matches, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
But one match stood above them all. Because in the words of Dusty Rhodes, what you're seeing is emotion. This great sport is built on emotion. And when I think of what match evoked the most feeling out of me in WWE this year, absolutely my answer is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. I thought this match was absolutely sensational. I don't think there's ever been a tag match in the history of this company better than this. I'm talking main roster. God damn it, I'm talking NXT. This match had anything you could possibly want for in a tag team wrestling match. You had the atmosphere of the stadium. You had the emotional investment. You had the heat. You had the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys, the pacing, the drama. And guess what? You also had some good fucking action. Because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walked out there repping PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and they carried the heart of Reseda on their sleeves. In the spirit of Reseda on their sleeves. Kevin Owens' hot tags where he would just explosively rattle off 17 fucking moves like he was Nick Jackson, doing swantons and flips onto the outside, all kinds of stuff. This match had everything, man. I'm telling you, set pieces, fucking just cinematic camera angles, drama,
Right.
like I said. I just thought this was a masterpiece. I thought it was the culmination of by far the best story that they've told in a long time. Because for all the praise that the Bloodline story gets from people, the actual heart of what was making this storyline very compelling resided in Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn was put into what I believe was a storyline that was very repetitive and dead in the water in the Bloodline storyline. And he imparted a bit of sincerity and heart into the story. He made this thing feel realer than it did before. And he took a story that I found it very hollow at the time that Sami was put into it, and just imparted so much charm. And he made it a thing that you had to watch what was going to happen every week, because you're going to get all these kind of little tidbits from Sami and Jey that were so fun and so charming, and so endearing. And seeing that weave out throughout the rest of the year and evolve and develop, and leading into the trial of Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn getting ousted from the Bloodline at the Rumble. Kevin Owens, his friend, rediscover the friendship that he had for Sami, and the brothers coming together to fight the other brothers. Jey Uso, who was emotionally conflicted the entire way through, because my God, man, he loves Sami, but he felt betrayed because he doesn't just give out his trust and familial bonds to anybody, and he gave it to Sami Zayn, and he basically made him look stupid by stabbing Roman in the back. And so now you're watching a conflicted man here, but you're seeing him have to wrestle with that, so to speak, and fight that. And he's fighting on behalf of his family, and Sami's fighting for his brother, and these guys are going at it. And again, like I said, guys, in front of 70,000 people in California, the sun is setting, beautiful, gorgeous setting. These guys went to fucking war, and they had a battle out there. And at the end, brotherhood and friendship prevailed, because Sami Zayn, the heart of WWE, gave 3 Hova kicks to Jey Uso and won the tag team championships. And El Generico, the guy that you never thought would make it to WWE, Kevin Steen, the guy you thought would never make it to WWE, they main evented at WrestleMania. And that can't be taken for granted because that's not something that you would have expected or foreseen 10 years ago. But they made it. And they made it side by side. And they made it defeating the strongest push tag team that the company had had in at least 25 to 30 years. An absolute masterpiece in the match of the year.
All right. I would say I can't argue with that. And I love the match. I gave it 5. Don't get me wrong. I love the match. Loved both main events of both nights. But there is only one match
Both
this
nights.
year. This well,
I don't know about loving both main events, but
I loved it. I loved night 2. It was the greatest night of my life. But there was one match this year, one pay-per-view main event this year that just had emotion, had a story, had surprises, had fun, and it was just a spectacle. The spectacle that you kind of expect a main event of a big WWE pay-per-view, especially a big international WWE pay-per-view.
Where are we going with this?
And that is Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Now, you might look at me crazy. But from the entrance of Bad Bunny that Bad Bunny made, of the just how many people were in that building, by the way? Somebody remind me in chat. How many people were in that building?
Roughly something like that.
I'm gonna go 10,000. I'm just gonna go 10,000.
There was about 18.
18,000?
Yeah.
18,000. 18,000 people singing not even a new song, not even one of his latest singles, one of his hit original singles from the beginning. It had the story of both Damian Priest and Bad Bunny being from Puerto Rico, both of them tagging in the past, the story of post-Mania and everything that happened between the two. It had Carlito's surprise return to the WWE. It had Savio Vega's surprise return to the WWE. It had so many twists and turns, like Burning One AC just said, 18,000 people in one arena for one match sounded like it was legitimately in a stadium that was packed with 60,000 people. From the beginning of the match to the end of the match, there was no dead spots. The interferences was perfect. It was perfectly laid out. Judgment Day got involved. Then LWO got involved. And then when when Judgment Day was overwhelming the LWO, then you had two. I wouldn't consider Carlito a legend, but you had two big pieces of history in WWE that were from Puerto Rico, just coming in and you're getting the ovation. That was the biggest reaction I've ever heard Carlito get in his entire career. It was from top to bottom. I think the match was perfect, and that is why Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest was my match of the year.
I love that match a lot. Big fan of that match. The atmosphere was incredible. Backlash was a great show. But because of the story heft and the depth of the tag match, and just the fact that the work itself was sharper, tighter, crisper, in the tag match, I'm going with that one over Bad Bunny. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
It was very hard to. Don't get me wrong. It was very hard to argue against. It's very hard to argue against that match because the story is perfect. Just like you said, the PWG tights and everything. It's very, very tough to argue against that match. But that Backlash match is just wow.
It was a beautiful atmosphere. Let's put the poll out, guys. And again,
alrighty,
this is based not off now. It's not off necessarily who you agree with, whose side you take on this. It's just who made the better argument in the debate. So when you ask who won the debate here, it's off that. It's who won this debate. Rob, when you put this one, set the timer. Can you set it for like 7 minutes? Is that possible? Or
I can delete it and repost it and put it as 7 if you want me to.
No, it's fine. If it says 5, then that's fine. Just put it in the
5, right? Let me put it in the chat.
All right.
Open the tab here. My latest tweet, and we're gonna drop it in chat. Please, guys, remember, if you are not in the chat, if you're not active in chat, my user is at SR Paragraph. There it is, right there in the chat. So make sure you go vote on that.
Rob has the link posted, and he has his tweet live. Get your votes in now because it will close in about 4 minutes. While we're waiting for that. And again, guys, vote on who had the better argument in your view, not who you disagree with in principle. I think I beat you there. We'll see what happens.
You probably did.
I do think the Backlash match was like incredible sports entertainment, and an amazing party match, to be honest with you. But with that said, Rob, let's get through some of the super chats that are starting to pile up, guys. You can keep them coming. We're going to be reading these throughout the night. Get those votes in, folks. Get those votes in because the polls close real fast. They close really fast. Rob, get the super chats up, brother.
CFP committee, $5. We have determined the WWE 2023 Women's MVP is the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. No. Alabama's pretty bad. Alabama's pretty bad, by the way.
That's funny. That's funny.
Dame, $4.99. I think Io should be in the conversation. I think her reign has been good, better than Rhea, and she's been a ratings draw.
The second half of her year has quietly been solid. She has good matches. Her stuff draws, and she's winning. The thing is, what I would say is that she's not as impactful to even though she is moving ratings, she's not as impactful as a character to her show as Rhea Ripley is to hers. But I do think Io has had a good year. She's absolutely up year over year when it comes to her standing in the company, and I think she's having a solid title run. So, if anything, it bodes well for Kyrie because I thought Io had a shaky start when she first came back too, and she's doing a lot better now than she did when she first came back. Thank you, Dame, for the super chat.
All righty, Darren Walker, £2. Shane versus Miz, worst match of the year.
Oh, that match rocked. I don't know about that. That match is phenomenal. Shane does a
drop down. What match are you talking about?
The match where Shane does a drop down, pops back up, and his leg fucking explodes.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yo, him trying to get up afterwards.
That ruled.
What a warrior. Shane rules.
Snoop Dogg calls an audible and does like a really bad people's elbow and beats the Miz. That was fucking nuts. Yeah. Go ahead, Rob.
Will Chisholm, $5. Is it me or does Malachi Black look dead on the inside last night? P.S. It felt like HBK gave her the title just to be nice. I think he's talking about Becky.
No, he's talking about Indy Hartwell. And
yeah,
I think that is the case. I think it was a bit of a charity situation there. And regarding Malachi, Malachi didn't look like he wanted to be there last week. I thought he was much better last night on Collision. They had a tag. It was the House of Black, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews taking on the veteran Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. And the match was much, much better than their match previous week with Gravity and Commander. And Buddy Matthews especially looked super duper sharp out there. He was doing some good stuff with Matt Sydal. And Malachi held his own too. He looked pretty good. So I thought he was more locked in than he was the week before. So I thought it was a good match for
people could say I'm hating, but it's like legitimately there was nobody expecting Indy Hartwell to win that match. The two expectations were Tiffany Stratton or Roxanne, and one of them was going to take the belt from the other person. Nobody. I don't even remember who else was in that match.
Mr. 628 said Triple H is nasty for constantly booking Tegan, Natty, Zaya, and Indy, but letting Mia, Alba, and Isla do nothing. That's a good point. Yo, let Mia even fucking wrestle more. If you're gonna do this thing where you're letting all the B tier women's wrestlers get on TV now, let Mia fucking cook.
How could you see what Mia was doing with those girls in Impact Wrestling?
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, you're gonna be in the background of the OC now.
Yeah, for some of this year she was hurt, but like right now, like let her get some burn. Like she could, because here's the thing: when they have these damage control Joshi women fight Bianca and Charlotte every week, it's a booking nightmare. You always gotta do shenanigans. But with like a Mia Yim, you could just give her 6-7 minutes with Kyrie. She could do the job, but at least you let her
Right.
wrestle. So yeah,
Yeah, people can lose. It's no big deal. Just let them wrestle before they fucking lose.
right. We'll choose on $5. WrestleMania Night 1 did feel like Triple H booked it, and Night 2 felt like Vince booked it. Vince was absolutely there. He was
Oh,
there.
he was there.
He was there.
Um,
No one will ever fully know the truth, but he was there. So who the fuck knows? Thank you, Will.
I 100% feel like he booked that Brock and Omos match the way it went, because everybody thought, because if that match was big booked by Triple H, it would have went crazy. But you know,
He did he I can tell you he straight up did want that match to happen. And the other thing is LA Knight and Bobby were supposed to do things on night 2 that ended up getting nixed. And I think personally that Vince McMahon is the one who kind of squashed those plans. But that's just a theory. Do we have any other super chats, Robert?
he doesn't want to. No, he doesn't want to work Bray. Well, he doesn't get to work.
Sure. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
The worst match of the year, Rob, was Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. This match was the main event of SummerSlam. There was 50,000 people in the building. Big 4 pay-per-view. The show was pretty good going to this point. Very long, and the crowd is starting to get tired, but it was a good show. And then Jey Uso finally gets his big singles main event with Roman Reigns, and they absolutely shit the bed. This was supposed to be called Tribal Combat, and it was literally just a regular no disqualification match. There was supposed to be no interferences in this match. There was plenty of interference from Solo Sikoa, and the action was lukewarm. This match was long as fuck, and it just featured a turn that at the time just felt absolutely jarring. That match was a piece of fucking shit, an absolute steaming pile of shit. And so, if you ask me what the worst major match of the year was, that would be my match. Before you retort with your response, please put up the results of the poll.
All righty, let's get it done. Okay, the match of the year. Present, share screen. The match of the year argument debate winner
I better have won this shit.
is Ibu with
Let's fucking go.
80 with 70% to 70.1 actually to 29.9%. People have their, indie wrestling Reseda bias. But it's okay. I understand. 18,000 people, reveling in their home country hero means nothing to people. So I understand.
Yeah, I tied the series up as I should have. And again, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso fucking stunk. The amount of hype, the fact that this took all the spring to build. Mind you, he doesn't put over Cody Rhodes because they wanted to do this fucking infighting stuff with the bloodline, right?
Deserved.
And then they spend the entire spring building this up where he asked the Usos to kind of step aside because him and Solo are going to beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then they fail to beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn because Jimmy Uso turns on Roman Reigns. But then Jey Uso has to make a choice. And then his choice was to turn on Roman as well. They do the fucking trial of Jey Uso or Roman, whoever the fuck the trial was about. The trial segment itself wasn't nearly as good or emotional or as well thought out as the fucking version that they did with Sami Zayn in January. The segment was long as shit. It was like 45 minutes. They had to cut down Sheamus versus Austin Theory because of it. And then
You was trying to watch. My fault. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry.
yeah, and so you get this fucking build, which it's Roman Reigns basically comes back to work purely to work his family, and you're like, all right, they're doing all this stuff. They do the Bloodline Civil War. Jey Uso gets the pinfall on Roman Reigns. All right, I don't agree with the direction, but I see where it's going. It's doing great numbers. It's metrically great. It's going to lead to a good match with Jey and Roman because hey, look, at the end of the day, in 2020, they had good matches. Their match at Clash of Champions, Night of Champions, whatever the show was called in 2020, very good match. Was Roman's first singles match as the current character. And so I'm thinking, all right, Tribal Combat, this is going to be awesome. It was not awesome. This was a lugubrious slog. This was so
That
slow.
is crazy.
It was lugubrious. Look the word up. It was so fucking long and so slow and so boring and so tame and so dry and nonsensical. There was nothing aesthetically different about the ring, even though it was called Tribal Combat. Again, this was just a slow 45-minute, no disqualification match where they whacked each other with kendo sticks and broke like one fucking table. This match was a piece of steaming garbage. So it's the worst match of the year, the worst major match of the year, because when it comes to the stakes and what was going in, the fact that they dedicated an entire springtime period to this program, only for the payoff to be absolute garbage, it wasted the entire period for me. Again, this is what Cody did the job for at Mania. For this piece of crap. Fuck this match. It stinks. It's terrible. And then Roman left. He had this awful match, and then he just left. Horrendous.
I
Horrendous garbage.
I would agree with you. First,
Stinky.
I would agree with you if
Abysmal.
I would agree with you if first Roman wasn't hurt, and secondly, right? Bro, it wasn't supposed to be. That's a problem with you, Marks. You care about in ring and work rate. We care about storytelling
Go
here
fuck yourself.
over here at Stanford. But I would agree with you if there wasn't a worse main event, major main event this year
Name
on
me
a
one.
WWE pay per view.
Name it.
And my candidate for a worse main event on a WWE pay per view this year was Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Payback 2023. Now I know, I understand. Roman versus Jay was very slow, very methodical, but this match was meant to be slow and methodical and just how would you say, a psychological fucking match where it was Shinsuke breaking down Seth's back and doing all this, but it was literally slow as fuck, and the crowd did not care 1 second about anything they were doing. The selling point of the match was that Seth Rollins' back is so hurt. Seth Rollins' back is so cooked. How was he going to get past this match? And how is he going to get past Shinsuke Nakamura and retain his world title? Seth barely sold his back in this match. Barely it was sitting there doing swantons and lion salts and Phoenix fucking splash Tims and over the top rope planches and fucking wait, is that fucking voting poll still on the screen? Oh, it said it was on the screen, but nonetheless, they were doing swanton. He was doing swantons and all this other shit. I'm looking at him like, bro, your lower back is supposed to be literally broken. It's supposed to be in half right now. It's supposed to be fractured, right? Then you got them doing fucking all the fucking New Japan trading spots to barely any reaction. You have a light boo, a light yeah, right? With the Roman match, there was a reasoning for that match being so. There was a reasoning because Roman was hurt. With this match, it's kind of like him being hurt was the entire point of the match, and he was barely selling the fact that he was hurt. He was doing like Brandon Kavanaugh Candial just said. He was doing 2010's New Japan cosplay with a fractured lumbar, with a broken back. I thought the match was. I thought it was bad. It was just like, and people can't blame it on Knock. You can't blame it on Knock because Knock has a way better match with Ricochet on a Monday Night Raw. He's been having good matches with Gable. Have a good match with Tozawa. He's been having good matches with all these people. But it's because he knows what he can and can't do, and he's sitting here selling and he's doing all these things. But it's like versus Seth. Seth is supposed to be holding the work rate title. He presented this world championship this year as the work rate title. He is here when Roman is not here, and he is main eventing when Roman is not main eventing. And his main event the one out of two main events that he's had this year, he shit the fucking bed. So that's why this is my worst major match of the year.
Are you done?
Yes.
Fine speech. Nobody's gonna remember a fast lane.
It wasn't Fastlane, it was Payback.
Nobody's gonna remember Payback. People remember SummerSlam because it's SummerSlam. You don't even get a fast lane or a Payback every single year. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso shit the bed in a bigger stage with higher stakes. That match meant more. It was built for 5 months. The match you're talking about was built for a few weeks on a B pay-per-view where it doesn't really matter. This is exactly this Jey and Roman match. That was all that mattered going into SummerSlam, realistically. It was the big storyline that overtook the entire company. This bloodline saga, the bloodline civil war. For that match to stink it up in front of 50,000 people after being built pretty much right after WrestleMania to that point, that's much more egregious than Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura having a mid-match on a September B pay-per-view that nobody's going to remember in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in the tribal combat match is the worst major match of the year.
But this is the thing. I raise you this. Is it really their fault if one man is literally immobile? Like can barely move?
Hey, man. That could be the reason why it sucked, but it doesn't take away the fact that
because the reason I'm presenting this as the match of the year is like I said, when Seth first held up that World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, he said this is going to be the championship that this is going to be the championship that's the work rate championship. This is going to be the I'm going to main event all the shows that Roman Reigns chooses not to show up to, and I'm going to win, and I'm going to basically win this war of who's the better world champion. I'm going to show everybody that it's not just sitting here and showing up when you want to that makes you the better fighting champion. It's being a fighting champion that makes you the better fighting champion. Seth Rollins has better world championship matches in the opener of pay-per-views than his two main event matches. And that's why I choose this match as the worst major match of the year. It's because, yeah, I get it. The Bloodline story has been built up for 3 or 4 years, 5 years. But when you look at what was built up with the World Heavyweight Championship and Seth Rollins' reign, this is supposed to be his moment. This is supposed to be his time. And he shits the bed. He shits the bed. And I don't care if you think it's because you have this thing where you think Nakamura is the worst wrestler on the roster. When you present yourself as the flag bearer, the standard of the brand, the standard of the promotion, the standard world champion, the work rate world champion, you're supposed to push people to your level. So
I hear you, Rob. I hear you. Shinsuke does suck, but he does stink. But I just think like stinking on a higher stage is worse than stinking when the stakes are low. Nevertheless, Rob, get ready to post a poll and get ready to post a link in the chat because we're going to vote. Who do you guys take? Whose side do you guys take on what was the worst WWE match of the year?
All right. And I'm going to go here, get the link, and share this out. All right. The tweet was just posted. I'm going to post a link in the WrestlePurist chat, live chat right now. All righty. There we go. It's in the chat right now. While we wait for people to vote on that, let's see if there are any more new super chats. Oh, there's a couple more new super chats. So let's go through those.
Let's go through them.
Richard Jr., $5. Zoe Stark is a WWE Women's MVP, and she has to win the Royal Rumble match the right way so she can challenge Io Sky at WrestleMania.
Thanks for the super chat, Zoe.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Will Chisholm, $5. Does Roman Reigns know that match with Jey Uso was bad, or does he even care?
He doesn't care, and Paul Heyman made sure to leak to the sheet said he was injured.
What a beast! That's my manager of the year. So Jizzle, $2. MJF versus Jay White was the worst WWE match of the year.
At least the big spots in the work in that match was better than the work in Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, hey, you try. Listen, brother. You try doing a fucking sambo suplex or a spinning uranagi off the top rope with a fucking torn hamstring. You try it.
If my hamstring was torn, I would tell Jay, let's just do a chop battle for 10 minutes.
How are you gonna step the chop, brother? You have no leg.
Let me. I'm gonna stand on one leg right now and try to throw a chop. Damn, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of hard.
Yo, this poll is so bullshit.
All right, put it up. Put it up. Wait.
No, it's not finished. It's not finished. 2 minutes.
Got
left.
you guys. Get those in. It's on Rob's Twitter. Those votes.
Yeah. Richard Jr. another $5. Zoe Stark versus Kyrie Sage should be the dream match we want to see at WrestleMania 40. Thank you, Zoe, for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Watching Russell Pearson just tossing her name in the hat. I respect it.
Yeah, she has, Zoe Stark. She has nice kicks. She has very, very intense and nice looking kicks.
That's hilarious. Thank you so much, Zoe, for the super chat. Are we done?
Oh no, it's still 2 minutes left. I don't know. Well, I'm getting cooked, so I might as well just put it up.
While we were preparing for the results of the poll, guys, what we are going to do right now, we've done women's MVP and LVP. We've done best and worst match of the year. We're going to do best pay-per-view of the year. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're going to talk about what the best and worst pay-per-views of the year were for WWE. In the event that me and Rob ever agree on anything, there simply will not be a poll, which is fine. There simply will not be a poll. We don't have to have a poll on everything, nor will we feign different opinions just for the sake of content. All these opinions that we're expressing are genuine opinions. So again, if we agree,
I think we might have the same best show.
We might, which is fine because maybe we disagree on the worst show, and if we don't, fuck it. Again, there's enough topics to where if we just clash on something, it's essentially a tie.
Hold on. All right, and I think the poll is basically finished. There's 1 minute left. All right.
Throw it up on the poll. Throw it up on the screen.
This is crazy. This is just crazy. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
let's go. I'm beating Rob. That's 2-1
what
now.
y'all doing?
It's 2-1.
This is crazy.
Hell yeah.
Y'all just so a man working hurt is a bad match to y'all? Wow. See how it is.
Job's not finished. Job's not finished. I need to win the series against Rob, and I believe I will. Folks, WWE has had a very notable schedule of, as they call it, premium live events in this global brand that we have. These premium live events that we do throughout the year across the country. Yeah, they've had a couple of very interesting ones. I mean, they went on a world tour this year, Rob. They went to Montreal, they went to Saudi, they went to London, they went to Puerto Rico. So they went all around the world, did these PLEs, as they call them, around the world, and did big business everywhere they went. And a lot of notable shows this year, many of which that I would say were very noteworthy and interesting and good. I like the good amount of them. I also disliked a couple of them that I saw, but I thought one stood above the rest, and that was WrestleMania 39 Night 1.
Fuck!
Not only do I think this is the best WWE pay-per-view of the year, I think this is the best WrestleMania ever. I think Night 1 as an isolated show, yeah. I think Night 1 as an isolated show is marginally, and I mean marginally, better than WrestleMania 17. Ever so slightly. It's 39, Night 1, then maybe 17, then like 19, something like that, roughly.
Mhm.
I thought this show was incredible. This show had a match of the year candidate, in my opinion, in the main event in the tag match. It was preceded by Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair thinking that they were in the Nippon Budokan, where they were just suplexing each other on their heads and
That
elbowing.
was awesome.
We had Dominic Mysterio coming out of a fucking prison, whatever the fuck he came out of. Rey Mysterio came out in a lowrider to Nothing But a G Thing with Snoop Dogg. That is peak vibes of anything.
No,
That
yes.
that was a great time. Rey Mysterio just getting revenge on his son, and that was a really really fun match. We had that super exciting tag four way with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders versus the Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits. That was a hell of a tag four way. And we also had that really really fun Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul match, the best Seth match of the year probably,
Yeah.
and just a ton of fun. I mean, he did a frog splash through the announce table onto fucking KSI.
Shout
He had
out Big KSI.
big moves at the end. So the Seth match is great. The women's the women's title match is great. The main event was an all timer main event for Mania, and the tag four was a lot of fun. Rey Mysterio Dom was a lot of fun. Great
Oh,
entrance.
it's the greatest WWE tag match of all time.
There you go. I think Mania Night One was an excellent show, and I think it was the best pay per view of the year. What do you think is the best pay per view of the year?
You know what? Doing these raw reviews and everything, you like you said before, you would think that we would not agree on a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but this one I'm going to agree with you on, and I'm going to say that my pay per view of the year for WWE was WrestleMania Night One.
Mm-hmm.
I think WrestleMania Night One, especially with me being a huge Cena mark, yeah, the match was bad. Don't care. Just seeing Cena start off WrestleMania, and then you have the like you said, the Seth and Logan Paul match. Then seeing KSI, who I literally grew up watching as a kid, at WrestleMania. You had the Rey Mysterio and Dom match, which, like you said, the awesome Rey Mysterio entrance. You had was that four-way tag Night One, right?
Yes.
The fucking four-way tag where you had Ricochet. I don't think he did a double moonsault, but he was doing
He did a
fucking
springboard shooting star press to the outside.
springboard shooting star presses to the outside. You got fucking all these people in that match diving. Chaos Theory on Braun Strowman from Chad Gable. What else? You had fucking Charlotte and Rhea thinking they were in All Japan Women in 1992, just going crazy. And so
Mm-hmm.
you combine all these things, you combine it with the greatest tag team match in my mind in WWE history in the main event. And like you said, which was your match during your presentation for match of the year, the story, them coming from nothing and as two Canadian kids that fucking put themselves on the map by killing themselves and fucking PWG and Ring of Honor and all these different places like they had on their tights, to now on the biggest stage wrestling the biggest WWE tag team in history besides the New Day. And so it's kind of like when you combine all of that and you put it into one, there really is no time. Like, there's stuff on Money in the Bank that was great, but then it's brought down by stuff that was bad. So just like Backlash, there was stuff on Backlash that was good and great, but there was stuff that was also brought down and made it a little bit bad. SummerSlam, I don't think SummerSlam was awful all the way around. I just think the main event
The main
just
event
left
was,
a lot of huh?
I said, yeah, the main event was just really bad.
Yeah, the main event just left a bad taste in people's mouths. Pause. But Payback was bad, I think. Fastlane, I love the tag match with Cena and LA Knight, but other than that, I can't really remember anything from it. And so, you know, I think that you combine all of these things, a close second, I would say is Survivor Series. Is a close second. If not
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber. But yeah, I don't think Royal Rumble was up there either.
Rumble, to be honest, was a bit of a one match show. I thought the men's Rumble match was really good. I thought that Kevin Owens Roman was a serviceable main event. It wasn't particularly strong. It wasn't also.
Right.
It was just okay. What the show was carried on was the amazing angle to close the event with the Bloodline and attacking Sammy. A lot of the middle stuff wasn't very good, to be honest with you. But because it felt like a very important show, though, when it comes to the broad strokes. Like I said, Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble and the closing angle. But that's kind of the deal with that. Nevertheless, Rob, I'll let you go first on this one.
The worst pay-per-view?
What was WWE's worst pay-per-view this year?
Probably the Rumble. Probably the Rumble. Outside of the ending of the Royal Rumble and outside of the women's Rumble and the men's Rumble, what else on that show was good that people remember? Yeah, people can look back on that show and say, yeah, that deserves to be up there with the top pay-per-views of the year. And yeah, Payback wasn't that good, and Fastlane wasn't the
Payback
best
had a
pay-per-view.
great tag title match and a great
Thank you.
Trish Stratus Becky steel cage match, though.
Right, and so you remember those things from those pay-per-views. I remember the energy of the fucking John Cena and LA Knight versus the Bloodline tag at Fastlane, and there was some other good things on Fastlane. And so, but it's just like with the Royal Rumble, outside of the 2 Royal Rumble matches and the end of the show, what do you remember from that show?
So I would say that it's not so there was some absolute garbage in the middle of that pay-per-view, but because of Cody's return and because of the all-time angle that we got to close the event, Kevin Owens versus Roman was a good match, and it was followed by an excellent angle, a powerful angle where Sammy refused to hit his friend Kevin Owens, and he got attacked and jumped by the Bloodline, and Jey Uso couldn't bring himself to join in, and he walked off. Because of that ending and the beginning of the show, I can't say this was the worst pay-per-view of the year because there was something worse, Rob. At least those shows, at least the broad strokes of those shows, the big points of the shows were memorable and good and set the stage for WrestleMania. What wasn't memorable or good was Fastlane. There's nothing that happened in Fastlane that had significant, broader, long-term implications on WWE this year. The opener was a good match. You had Cody and Jay versus Judgment Day for the tag team titles. But you know what ended up happening, Rob? They lost the belts in 2 weeks. Cody and Jey Uso lost the tag team championships in 2 weeks. So it's like, what did it really mean? It was essentially a means to an end for the storyline. So that match is kind of like obsolete, right? You look at the Bloodline tag that you talked about. It was Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight and John Cena. That match sucked. That match felt like it was 35 minutes long, and it was literally
You don't get it.
Cena doing absolutely fuck all. He did nothing of note. He just fell around and sold and called spots at the top of his lungs, and then ultimately he tags in LA Knight to do his LA Knight hot tag, and the place is going absolutely insane, and it's hysterical stuff. But it was not a good match. The main event, the last man standing match, it was the last man standing, right? That match sucked. Like, for all the reasons you outlined, it was not a good main event. I do not know why Dave Meltzer gave that 4.5 stars. I don't really get it, but what are you going to do? I just thought that was a bad match.
Probably for the Muda spot.
Maybe so. What else was on this godforsaken card? This show also was going to give us a fucking Gunther Ciampa match, which would have really helped. And then they did it on TV. I want to say either on the go home or the show after. And that match was awesome. By the way,
Seth Rollins.
We might be on to you.
You did that.
Gunther versus Ciampa was great. And then when we got that match on the TV, and we didn't get that on this pay-per-view, which would have helped the pay-per-view. Just not a very memorable show. Oh my God, LWO versus Hurt Business was terrible. That match was so disappointing. It was so clunky and flat and like not very good. And all to build to Carlito coming in to make the big save. The LWO, I'm a fan of the group, by the way. They had a great feud with Judgment Day earlier in the year. Their feud with the New Hurt Business was not good at all. And this match was not good. They didn't have a good match in the second match of the night. And so when I just think about it, like just a very unmemorable, unremarkable show that didn't really have that much notably good wrestling. There was a women's three-way with Io, Charlotte, and Asuka later on the night, and that was pretty fun. But again, it's just like nothing super memorable, nothing meaningful, nothing that like affected where WWE was going long term. Like Survivor Series is pivotal for the company. Mania was pivotal. So there was major implications and storyline stuff that happened at Night of Champions and fucking Money in the Bank, right? Fastlane could have never happened, Rob, and there'd be no material difference in the year WWE had this year. For all you can say about the Rumble, which did have a lot of bad stuff at the beginning, I mean, in the middle of the show, Cody Rhodes making his return and winning the Rumble, Gunther going the distance, them setting up the IC title three-way throughout the Rumble match, them building the Bobby versus Brock in the Rumble match, them setting up KO and Sammy versus the Usos in the post-match angle to close the show. These are box office major implications for what happened in the road to WrestleMania. And these things did not happen at Fastlane. A show that was forgettable, hollow, and pretty lame. So that's my pick for the worst pay-per-view of the year. Throw the fucking poll up, Rob.
Did we do one for the best pay-per-view of the? Oh, we agreed on that one. You're right.
We agreed on Mania. So put a poll up and we'll have people decide this.
All righty. All right. And WWE. Who's about to call it PLE?
Worst PLE, worst pay-per-view of the year.
All right. And it is Ibu. 7 minutes, right?
No, 5. You can do 5.
All right.
You can do 5. Make sure, guys, make sure to be at Rob's Twitter page, and he will absolutely, this will be open for you guys to vote. I'm up 2-1, I believe, right? 2-1. So yeah, I'll be up 3-1 after this one. So that'll be fun. That'll absolutely.
I couldn't really think of any horrific, like horrid pay-per-views this year.
No, Triple H pay-per-views at their worst are just kind of boring and don't hit, which is like a 5 out of 10 versus like a 2 out of 10, which is like just an abysmal event, which we got some of those in the late Vince era. Triple H shows range from like boring, and then the top ones are like pretty good. So that's the deal. And then Mania was like excellent. But Rob's poll is up now. Let me vote for myself. Let me find the.
So crazy! Like this is insane.
Let's see here. I'm probably gonna smoke on this one. Let me see. I'm just destroying you here. Let's.
So niggas gonna act like. All right.
Yeah, I agree with the people so far.
Niggas gonna act like they wasn't popping for the LA. See, I see some of y'all.
LA Knight and Cena versus the Bloodline was horrible, Rob.
I see some of y'all. No, but I see some of y'all. I know some of y'all was in y'all living rooms yelling, yeah, when that nigga was doing his hot tag. I see some of y'all. It's like them niggas that be on Twitter being like, oh, the Raw is so bad, but they be live tweeting that motherfucker and knowing what's going on. I see you.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all motherfuckers y'all be shadow popping for some of this shit y'all call bad.
That is true. There's a lot of accounts that sneak watch Raw and try to act too cool for school and act like they're above it. That's not true. We know about you. We know.
That match dragged on.
It did, Rob.
What's wrong with slowing it down?
No. If you like Solo Sikoa put John Cena in like 3 nerve holds. Did we need that? They literally could have had the same match in 7 minutes. They decided to go like 25. Why?
What was that yesterday that I popped for that you were like, you like dog shit?
It might have been Abaddon versus who did she face?
Kiera Hogan.
Kiera Hogan? Her fine ass. Yeah. You were like, oh man, Cook. No, fuck you. You like really bad wrestling.
Shout out Abaddon.
No.
Real wrestler.
No shouting out to Abaddon. No shouting out to Abaddon. Anyways, folks, get those last few votes in. We're closing in on here. The next thing we're going to describe, we're going to debate. It'll be the second to last topic, Rob. This one is going to be best weekly show. WWE has 3 weekly shows, guys. NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. There's been ups and downs for all three shows. And to be honest with you, I think this one's slightly subjective, but I have a clear choice based on what I want out of my wrestling. I know the show that I think was generally the best of the three WWE shows, and I'll explain so later. And Rob will pick the show that he feels is the best one. Oh, the chat is killing me. The chat is fucking killing me. Yeah, I'll give you guys my answer. It's probably not going to be what Rob's answer is. We'll get into it shortly. But before we do, Rob, let's get that poll up. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's
There's
see.
1 minute left, but I just don't understand. Like, I just don't get, what people see in like wrestling. Like, I don't understand what people see in pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they just understand that I know ball.
what, like pro
Nevertheless,
wrestling fired you?
I won as I should have. And now I'm up 3-1. I'm up 3-1. Rob, what's the best WWE show of the year, sir? Best weekly show.
I had an entire bit planned where I was gonna say it was NXT, but I have to be objective here, and I have to say that I believe SmackDown was the best weekly show of the year. Now, people might look at me and be like, "Oh, how could you say that?" Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it. Let's talk about it. I have statistics and evidence to prove.
Oh boy, yeah.
Points, by the way,
let's hear this one, Rob. Let's fucking hear this one.
Let's see. SmackDown throughout the summer, post Bloodline beating Cody Rhodes. SmackDown throughout the summer was weekly. Every time Roman Reigns and the Bloodline were on that screen.
The NXT Hive in the chat feels like you fucking turned heel on everybody.
No,
like,
listen, guys.
Like when Hogan dropped the leg and bashed at the Beast 96.
Listen, guys. Listen, guys. I understand. I know. Guys, listen. I know.
Yeah.
No, guys, please stop.
You were the voice of the voiceless, Rob. You were the
guys, look, guys, listen. NXT was going to be my best weekly show until they've kind of dropped off the last couple of weeks. They haven't really moved me in the last couple of weeks, in the last month. So I know, guys, but listen, SmackDown was the best weekly show from a numbers standpoint. Let's talk about it. While, yeah, you had pro wrestling and blah, 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 all that bullshit on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw could barely touch the surface of 1.7 million, 1.5 million. Could barely touch the surface. Meanwhile, they were doing straight up storytelling. On SmackDown every week. And every week, SmackDown was doing 2.5s, 2.6s, 2.7s, 2.8s, and 2.9s. And even the highest rated segments on the show would sometimes reach 3.1 million. Now I know you guys are gonna say viewers doesn't equal it's quality over quantity, right? But let's talk about the stars that SmackDown has built, especially after the disappearance of the Bloodline, right? Where did this nigga go? Well, I'm here by myself, so I'm going to present my argument that I made earlier to somebody else. Right? Not only did SmackDown have weekly segments with the Bloodline that did 3 million viewers, it had the rise of LA Knight, the John Cena throughout the entire fall season. I'm bringing up Ebu now. It had John Cena throughout the entire fall season, and it also had the rise of Damage Control after everybody thought Damage Control was a dead faction. Everybody thought Damage Control was dead in the water. Io Sky won the women's championship, and she has been having great matches on SmackDown Live and on pay-per-views ever since. Raw was objectively the Sami, Kevin, and Cody show versus Judgment Day, combined with start booking because Vince McMahon was still interfering with the show half of the year, meaning that there were certain pushes that you're seeing on Monday Night Raw now weren't happening five months ago because of the straight up just incoherence, the straight up chaos, and the straight up just mind-boggling, just nonsensical antics of the backstage politics going on at Monday Night Raw. Not to mention the way the LWO storyline has been going, the rise of Santos Escobar lately, Dragon Lee coming on the scene, and just having great match after great match after great match weekly, having bringing Cedric Alexander back to relevance, giving Axiom a good match in 5 to 6 minutes. You know, you also, but listen, you guys can get mad and sit here and say whatever you want, but the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for Monday Night Raw. NXT was good. NXT was good. I love NXT.
Rob,
But
you
if they
turned heel on
haven't,
your audience, sir.
but listen, if they
Too
haven't,
late.
if they
Let it go.
haven't had the downturn that they've had,
You failed Orlando, Rob. You failed Orlando. You were looked at as the savior. You were the chosen one. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. And there's a portion of our audience that believes in you and looks to you as the guy to voice their joy and their love of NXT. You know, they feel like they don't have a mainstream major voice that really show over, and then you're the guy. And then what did you do on Face Off? You turned your back on Orlando. How could you call yourself Rob of Orlando and not rep for Orlando?
Blood over Orlando any day.
I thought you were gonna say blood money. I was gonna be like,
Blood.
God damn, nigga.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I almost went crazy. We was wild on that one.
All right. Anyway, you picked the worst WWE show. SmackDown lately has been pretty decent because now they're pushing Dragon Lee and Santos is getting somewhere, and the damage control thing is interesting. But this last chunk of TV has been pretty good. There's parts of Mania season that was pretty good because of the Dominic stuff and all that kind of jazz. But overall, SmackDown for a lot of this year was just like straight up bad. It wasn't very good. And the Bloodline took over way too much of the show to the point where nobody else could really get anywhere. So to me, it's the weakest of the three WWE shows. My pick is Raw. Why? Because I like pushed hot baby faces and I like good wrestling. And folks, if you were to go back and check and tally up the amount of good to great matches on WWE TV this year, the majority of them come from Monday Night Raw. You see, on any given week in WWE TV, you can expect about 2 good matches on Raw, 2 notably good matches on Raw. You might even get a couple from NXT that are pretty fun. You rarely get any from SmackDown. Genuinely, matches don't cross 3.25 on SmackDown normally, and they rarely have all year. But guess what, folks? On Monday Night Raw, on any given week, you can look forward to Gunther gracing your television sets. Let me jog your guys' memory for some of the best matches of the year this year on Monday Night Raw. Remember the trial of Sami Zayn, which is another great angle, by the way, that happened on Monday Night Raw? Remember how after that angle, they had the Usos face the Judgment Day for the tag titles? And Jimmy Uso got hurt, and the Usos looked like they were going to lose the tag belts, and Sammy came in and won the match with Jay, and it was amazing. That was on Raw. Do you guys remember Kevin Owens versus Gunther? That sensational match? That was on Raw. Remember Sami Zayn versus Gunther? That was on Raw. Remember Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Gunther and Kaiser? That match was fucking great, right? It was on what? SmackDown? No. NXT? No. It was on Monday Night Raw. Remember Tommaso Ciampa versus Gunther? Excellent match on Raw. Bronson Reed versus Gunther? Very good match. It was on Raw. Remember that really fun Viking Rules match with the Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders? Oh, that was a ton of fun, right, Rob? That was so fun, right? That was on Monday Night Raw, Robert. All those fun Seth Rollins matches at the start of the year when he was en route to getting his to kind of pushing for the title. That was on Monday Night Raw. Holy shit. Cody Rhodes and all these fun singles matches and tags. It was on Raw, Robert. I know everybody was kind of shitting on the Judgment Day and all those Judgment Day tags, but guess what, guys? You know what you could always rely on with Monday Night Raw this year? You could rely on hot baby faces opening and closing the shows, and joy, and hot tags, and heat. And there was a 2 to 3 month stretch where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were absolutely rocking the house with the Judgment Day and main event tags. Monday Night Raw was the show where Dragon Lee made his main roster debut against Dominic. Really, really fun match. Monday Night Raw was the show where Ricochet had that awesome Falls Count Anywhere match with Shinsuke Nakamura, where guess what? He did a shooting star press off a fucking balcony. Remember that? Remember how awesome that was? That was Monday Night Raw. Remember that tremendous trilogy with Chad Gable and Gunther? A series of matches that were so good that even non-WWE fans could enjoy these matches. That was not on SmackDown. That was on Raw. Before I get into any other aspect, Robert, from an in-ring quality standpoint, this was the show that had the better wrestling roster, and they had the time and space to be great. And consistently, they were. I like Raw more than SmackDown and NXT because I get more good matches. And I like it more than NXT because I don't get a lot of the silliness, you know. But beyond that, this is also the show where some of the best angles of the year happened. The trial of Sami Zayn was the best Bloodline segment of all time. It was the segment where Jey Uso told Sami, "I love you like a brother," and hugged him. And he saved Sami from execution of the Bloodline. Tremendous angle. You know what else happened? When Jey ultimately made the choice to side with Jimmy, and he super kicked Sami Zayn and said, "You thought I was going to choose you? This is family shit." Super kicks him. Boom. That happened. I think that Raw.
No. Because if you hold on, if you got more segments, let's talk about Post-Mania.
All right, let's Post-Mania Raw angles. Is that what we're going to do here? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Because Post-Mania, you know what we did get? We got strong wrestling in the middle of the year. And from a story standpoint, the resurrection of Drew McIntyre, which I completely forgot about. Holy shit. Drew McIntyre became an interesting presence on the shows again for the first time in 3 years. Holy fucking shit. Wow. Thanks for reminding me, Rob. Drew McIntyre comes back, and he is a guy who's on a warpath because he feels disillusioned with all the babyfaces siding with Jey Uso and forgiving this guy who fucking was a former Bloodline member. And here he is, you know, staying true to his ideals and his morals, and he's seen as the bad guy for it. And the storyline of that and his turn because of this and how it affected everybody else and all the other characters is interplay and evolving fucking character stances and motivations as a result of Jey coming in. Beautiful storyline stuff, Robert. The Judgment Day became a very developed group during this time period as well. So for all these reasons and more, oh my God, who could forget Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Jey and Cody Rhodes. This show dog walked the fuck out of Friday Night SmackDown. And so that's my pick.
You know, it's funny to me how you pick this, and you keep I've noticed the pattern in what you're doing here. You're bringing up the before WrestleMania during the spring, and you're bringing up fall Monday Night Raw. But let's talk about what happened during the summer. Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio as an angle was fire to you? That was a fire angle to you? No.
Holy
this
shit!
podcast where we ask questions.
I forgot. The mid card has set up this nice system now where you get these fun matches from people like Ivar. Ivar having these cool matches with Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston quietly having
during the
most
fall.
fun.
We're talking about the summer. What happened during the summer?
Return, and he's having these cool matches with Drew McIntyre and Ivar. Hell, Bronson Reed became fairly fun. Tommaso Ciampa is having doing some good stuff. The tag division, the Creed brothers' debut.
But this is all stuff that you're talking about.
What a healthy roster.
That is taking place before and after the summer. Let's talk about the summer of Monday Night Raw.
The summer of Monday Night Raw, Robert. You want to know what happened in the summer of Monday Night Raw? Want to know what happened? A lot of really, really good matches involving Kevin Owens.
We're not talking about matches. What about the stories?
What do you want, nigga? Seth
Wait,
was in a few.
listen, matches don't get you 3 million, baby. Matches don't get you 3 million.
But good wrestling makes for better television.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I am a wrestling fan, and Robert, this is wrestle purists.
We are, but what are we? What are we? World
Who's
Wrestling
we?
what, Ibu?
Who's we?
World Wrestling what, Ibu?
You
What
don't
are
work
we?
there.
I do. What do
This
you mean?
name is a bit.
What are we called, Ibu? World Wrestling what?
Federation.
No. What are we called?
World Wrestling Federation.
No. We are called the World Wrestling Entertainment.
You know
And
what's entertaining?
regardless-
You know what's entertaining to me, Rob? Good wrestling.
That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But when it comes to wrestling and entertainment, what drew more? What drew more? Entertainment or wrestling? Entertainment or wrestling?
Give me one argument.
Were 3 million people watching wrestling, or were they watching entertainment?
Give me one argument for why SmackDown is the best show this year that doesn't involve metrics of any kind. You can't come up with any because the show largely sucks.
John Cena, Rey Mysterio.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
No, but I'm asking you. No, but I'm just asking you.
Austin Theory received significant television time for the majority of this year.
I'm asking you. That's unfortunate. I'm asking you.
Oh my god.
I'm asking you. No, I'm just asking you.
Gunther Gable should have ended this debate, bro. The third
no.
match.
What did Gunther and Gable get? What did they get when the rating came out? First of all, people don't even barely remember that match. You know why? Because they had to put.
What are you talking about?
They had to, no. Remember.
People still want that match because it was so good. What are you talking about?
They had to put Gable and Gunther up on YouTube after the show because 90%
of it
fucking tremendous commercials.
Because it was fantastic.
90% of the Raw matches that you're talking about are fucked over by commercials.
Oh my
what are you talking about?
Oh my God. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in.
No, listen.
Rob, put the poll up. Rob, put the fucking poll up.
All I'm saying is one show drew 3 million, and the other show, you know, they did fine. But you know,
Rob, SmackDown spent September building around heel Jimmy Uso. What the fuck are you talking about, Rob?
Okay, what's your point?
He was so bad that they said we have to switch you to a comedy character because this is so bad. The same way they did with, you know who, Robert? Dominic. What are we talking about here?
I don't know who that is.
Put the fucking poll up.
Listen, the bottom line is, right? When you think about it, okay?
Put the fucking poll up.
I'm right. I'm putting the poll up now. Wait, best weekly show, right? Yeah.
Yes. I need to do a breathing exercise, guys. Please send some fucking super chats. I can't do this. I can't do this.
We are the worldwide leader in sports entertainment, Ibu. You're just gonna have to accept this. Wrestling will never be over. It will never be over. You know, and it's just unfortunate.
Rob Russo.
Poll is up.
Rob fucking Russo. Yeah, guys, just vote on that poll, please.
The world of wrestling, you have to understand it is 2023. It's not 1985. People don't care about wrestling.
I think wrestling is really cool and it's very neat. And anywho, any fucking who. Guys, go to Rob's page. Listen. Did you throw it in the comments? Did you put the poll in the comments?
Yeah, it's right there.
Let me see it. I don't see this fucking poll. I'm gonna have to find it on your page.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
Let's see what.
This is crazy. This is crazy. No.
Oh my god. Rob, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
No, because you lagged out. But yeah, get those votes in, guys. We got 3 minutes left here. You got 3 minutes left here, but
You know,
yeah.
I'm just saying, bro. We're not here to present you wrestling. That's not what we're here to present you. We are here to present you with the goods. And when Raw was at the top of the industry, they weren't really doing wrestling. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Rob, you're getting destroyed. You're getting
It's
fucking
pretty bad.
waxed. You're getting fucking waxed. Let's get some super chats up on the screen.
Alrighty, let's do this shit. What was the last super chat we went through?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, it was Zoe Stark trying to get herself over.
Right.
Will Chisholm, $5. The only thing good about Fastlane was drunk Jimmy Uso and drunk Cody.
Yeah.
I'm greedy as hell, only out for myself, $1.99. What do you guys WWE TV match of the year? KO and Gunther.
Gunther versus Chad Gable 3.
I
Incredible.
I'll have to watch it again because the commercials took me out of it. I can't cap. Like, I don't know. Got 2 minutes left on this poll, so
let's look at it. Let me check this thing out.
y'all saying, you would have won if you would have did NXT. But I stand on business. And the bloodline is at the top of the business. So y'all see that SmackDown rating with no bloodline, by the way? I'm sorry. 700K, no bloodline. This is what y'all wanted, though, right? This is what y'all cried about.
You don't believe the words you say, Rob.
This is what they cried about. It was like, oh, we don't have if there was less bloodline. A certain man said if there was less bloodline, then we would have more time to tell stories. That's what I heard. A specific wrestler told me that, but y'all been telling y'all stories, but they're not a bestseller.
We should just not entertain Rob when he goes on these diatribes. Quite frankly,
I'm right.
Nevertheless, never. Rob, get these results on the screen.
This is all part of the liberal agenda. You liberals in your professional wrestling.
Hayes pointed out Sami KO versus Judgment Day in Atlanta. That's the best Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens Judgment Day tag on TV. It was them versus Priest and Dom in Atlanta. The crowd was white fucking hot. They went about 22 minutes, and that match was fantastic.
All that to get a 1.6. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Anyways, I won on that. That's 4-1. Get the fuck out of my face. We do have one more topic, unfortunately. I gotta spank Rob around, slap Rob around one more time.
What the fuck?
Anyways. Yeah, guys, stay with us. We got one more topic, one last fucking debate.
One more?
Yes. Yes, we do. Who the men's MVP of WWE is. And we're also going to go into who the worst pushed wrestler of WWE this year is. So, let's get this link out. I'm going to share it out real quick.
You go first, because I don't think we really differ on it.
Really?
In terms of what they're doing and who's getting over and who's not.
Who's WWE's? Then you start with your MVP and I'll put the tweet out.
Now I know everybody. Yes, the chat is spamming Cody right now, but I would have to say the 2023 men's MVP is Gunther, and this is why. Gunther has taken a championship that, as of last year, summer of last year, even before summer of last year, the Intercontinental Championship was completely dead. It was dead in the water. It was literally nobody gave a fuck about the Intercontinental title for a long time because fucking, you had Ricochet had it, but Ricochet had like a 3-month reign where he did nothing. He didn't even make WrestleMania. Who else? You had fucking horrible. You had that. The best thing in the last 5 years that they've ever done for the Intercontinental title pre Gunther was the Intercontinental title tournament where Bryan and AJ were the finalists, and they had that 30-minute match on SmackDown. That was the best thing they've done for the championship in the last 5 years until Gunther. Gunther has taken that championship, and with his cadence, his presence, his work ethic, how hard he works on himself and how hard he works for others, the matches that he's produced with some of these people, where he's come up with the ideas for the entire match. You got the Bronson. He has made Bronson Reed look for 2-3 weeks, for a month, look like somewhat of a great performer. He had the Miz's best match in a long time. A long time. He's had it's so bad. He has MVP for me for this reason only. It's so bad that they have to take him off of pay-per-views to hide him from the world heavyweight champion, from overshadowing the current world heavyweight champion. That's how great he has been performing. There's no performance from a mid-card champion since probably ECW where the mid-card champion was outperforming the world champion so badly that they had to hide them from pay-per-views in order for the world champion to have the spotlight. So that's why Gunther is my MVP for 2023 at WWE.
He's the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, and his matches are appointment viewing, and he's an incredible TV wrestler. His ability to adapt to WWE's format and really compelling TV matches in their system is remarkable. And yeah, he's just awesome. I agree with you. I actually don't disagree. I think he's the MVP of WWE this year. We're on the same thing. As for worst, what's your answer? Who is the?
Oh wait, Evil, you're lagging out. Even come back real quick.
Am I back?
Oh yeah, you're good. You're fine now. Go ahead. Yeah, Evil, even come back real quick. Oh, there he is. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did I disappear? What happened? It said that you were lagging on my end.
Oh no, but I don't know. But now there's two of you for some reason.
Did you get rid of the second Ibu?
Yes. You can go now.
Yeah, I was just saying he's the best IC champ of all time, and he's also a more all-round performer than people give him credit for. He does all the things that like WWE in theory value out of a guy. Like he can cut a hell of a promo. He has great presence. He has good size, and he's just a tremendous wrestler. His ability to adapt to the WWE TV style and have compelling matches is something that he should be credited for. So we're on the same page. I think he's also the men's MVP. Who would you have as? Who do you think, Robert, is the worst pushed men's wrestler in WWE of 2023?
Austin Theory, because he had the title. He had the U.S. title for 90% of the year.
That's a good pick, to be honest with you. He's fucking terrible.
Like,
do you have any arguments? Because I have a different pick, so this will be the last debate.
I mean, yeah, like Austin Theory really made no motion as United States champion for 90% of the year. Bad matches throughout 90% of his title reign. No aura, zero aura. No one cared when he came out. The most anybody's ever cared about a match that he had was when he lost the title to Rey Mysterio. So I already know who Evil's gonna pick, and it's gonna piss me off. But go ahead, Evil.
Yeah, Theory does suck dick, but I think there's a worse push wrestler. This guy not only has bad matches, this guy is his own vortex that when wrestlers get sucked into them, it's hard to escape, it's hard to produce good work, and it takes a while to get out of. This guy and his vortex of bad matches leads to bad pay-per-view matches, which leads to matches that hurt the shows that they're on. My pick is Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, was a guy who was a push wrestler in New Japan. He had a great career over there. He had a great career in NXT. The thing with Shinsuke is he just doesn't have it anymore, and so it doesn't matter how much you upgrade the presentation, which they have. They upgraded the presentation. They book him strong now. He wins most of his matches. He's protected. He has the subtitled promos, which absolutely help him because it's much better than him trying to like cut an English promo live. All these things are upgrades in his presentation. But the bottom line with Shinsuke, the thing that's tough about him in his presentation is it's hard to get into anything he does because you know that the in-ring payoff isn't going to deliver. The Nakamura and Seth Rollins stuff was a pretty decent story and a pretty decent premise, but you knew the matches weren't going to deliver, and they didn't. They didn't deliver. Shinsuke Nakamura is just a guy that doesn't have it in the ring anymore, and so everything else falls flat as a result. Cody Rhodes just started a program with Shinsuke. It's impossible to have any level of enthusiasm for that because you know it's just some filler running in place garbage. I can't get into that. I don't know if you're into that. Shinsuke is the worst push wrestler on Monday Night Raw and in the company for the year because every other push wrestler on Raw is pretty fucking good. Gunther's pretty good. I don't know about you, Rob. Kevin Owens is pretty good. Sami Zayn is pretty good. Cody Rhodes is pretty good. Jey Uso is pretty good. Randy Orton's pretty good. These guys are pretty good, Rob. I can't say the same for Shinsuke. He's my pick.
I don't know because it's just like, yeah, you can make that argument for Nakamura, but it's just like, yeah, are the segments like the best segments in the world? No. Are they the best matches in the world? Hell no. But it's like Austin Theory has done like zero of what Shinsuke Nakamura has done. At least like Shinsuke Nakamura might get some people in the audience to go ooh and ah when he does some of his promos, and they might react like the I think it was the Go Home show when he beat the shit out of Rollins with the chair. Like at least he got people to react to what he was doing. Austin Theory's get no reaction. Austin Theory's interviews get no like praise. Zero, like I said before, zero aura. Like he just has this presence of just giving you something, and you're just like, yo, what the fuck are you trying to give me? Pause. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, nobody understands what the fuck Austin Theory is. Nobody.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. Theory sucks. But
Nakamura kind of seems like he's in this stage where everybody knows he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's kind of like this. It's hard to describe his character now, but you kind of know what he is and what his point is and what he's trying to be. Nobody understands what Theory is trying to be. Nobody. Theory beat John Cena in a match of WrestleMania and proceeded to still have nobody care about him.
Look, I think Theory is pretty damn bad. You know, the reason why I didn't pick him is because he's not pushed as hard as Shinsuke is anymore. Shinsuke is hard to ignore because he faces main eventers and eats up like major portions of the show. Whereas with Austin Theory, he's not pushed as that hard. He's a mid carder, and to his credit, which I begrudgingly will give here, this tag team with Waller has absolutely helped him. He was an awful United States champion.
Who was that three-way? Who was that in that three-way he had for the U.S. title with Bronson Reed at?
It was him, Bronson Reed, and Lashley in Puerto Rico.
And he was the worst part of the match.
The match is all right, though. My point is, since getting his push skill back and teaming with Waller, it hasn't been that. Like, it's been pretty decent, to be honest with you. They're having pretty decent tag team matches. And again, I can ignore Austin Theory if I want to because he's in like one segment or one match on the TV. Nakamura's he's in big angles with like the top guy of fucking Raw. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. You can't ignore that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like like Rakia just said in the comments, one guy is doing this without a belt. One guy was doing this with a belt. and was actively having people be like, "Yo, does the U.S. title even mean anything anymore?" You know, I understand your point, and I don't disagree that Nakamura shouldn't be pushed as hard as he is. But it's like when you have the guy who doesn't have a belt, who's trying to get a belt, versus the guy who has a belt and what he's producing with said belt, you kind of can't you can't look at Nakamura in theory and be like, okay, Nakamura is worse.
I think he is for the reasons I outlined. Do you want to do a vote on this? Because I already won anyway. Or do you want to just say
I mean,
fuck?
yeah, you pretty much went on a run already. There's no point in doing a poll.
Right.
And I didn't get swept, so
you didn't get swept.
Hey.
So good for you there. Before we kind of wind this down, do you want to shout out anybody for most improved wrestler of the year for WWE? I think my pick is gonna be Braun Breaker.
I don't think but he was already good though.
He was, but he fell out of favor with the fans, and his act was starting to get a bit stale. And I think he's absolutely turned it up now in this new heel character.
I would say, oh yeah, absolutely, Dom Mysterio. What the fuck am I? Why am I thinking about this? Absolutely, Dom Mysterio. Dom Mysterio is literally the biggest heel on Raw right now. He is the biggest heel on Raw right now. People keep trying to say his boos are piped in, but they have video evidence of these boos not being piped in. And Triple H said himself, he's like, "Yo, I always thought these boos were piped in." So yeah, fucking Dom Mysterio is most improved, obviously. All right. You got Lil Uzi Vert asking for a match at WrestleMania. Come on now.
I'm not gonna fight the Dominic pick. Tiffany Stratton improved a lot this year as well. Couple people.
I just don't see Braun as being improved when he was already good. Like, yeah, he fell out of standing with the fans, but it wasn't like he was a bad wrestler. People just hated his character.
Mm-hmm. I do think he upgraded the act, though, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we have any super chat stuff, guys? This is the last chance to get some super chats in. Get them in now because we're gonna leave in the next couple minutes here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I had a good time here. I kind of tired myself out there yelling at Rob about SmackDown, but yeah, this was the best and worst of WWE in 2023. And like I said at the top of the show, we will absolutely be doing this for AEW. When the year is in the books, we will get into it and debate the best and worst aspects of AEW top to bottom of 2023, and that'll be a fun show. In the meantime, though, this was the return of Face Off, and I had a lot of fun coming back here. Isra wanted to do the show, but circumstances led to her not being able to do it, unfortunately. She will be back shortly, and we'll try to do another one this month before we do the AEW Best and Worst as holiday specials continue. Rob, let's get these last super chats out the way.
Oh, we both agreed that the MVP for men's is Gunther. Yeah, so
yeah,
we already agreed on that. Andy, 100 rupees. Heel Drew and Jimmy embody Raw and SmackDown. For my taste, is Raw's handled characters with more care than every wrestling show in 2023. Glad NXT is not in the combo. First of all, respect NXT.
It's just too silly for my taste. I can't do the pre-tapes. I can't do the silly wackiness personally.
Like I understand from a presentation of wrestling standpoint. I understand how people like how you wouldn't like the show because it's like it's more silliness than it is wrestling. But when they start wrestling, brother, and some of the best though.
I do think the high end matches on NXT are pretty fun, to be honest.
That the fucking match with Frazier and Dragon Lee the night after Vince ruined Raw.
Yeah,
that's some of the best. Like the NXT was just going crazy during that time period. So, but I can understand how people wouldn't want NXT in the convo.
I enjoy the matches on NXT actually.
Like Kiro Kid said, NXT is a young fans game, so I would understand that.
I don't have an issue with NXT. It's just not the presentation isn't for me, but I actually like a lot of the talents that are featured. I'm a big fan of Ilya Dragunov. I love the Creeds who were there for a lot of the year. I'm a huge fan of Braun Breaker. I like Nathan Frazier. Dragon Lee was on the show for a bit. Axiom is really good. Carmelo Hayes, I'm a fan of Carmelo Hayes. Tiffany Stratton's awesome. Lyra Valkyra's made big improvements this year. That's a shot for improvements.
Yes.
The in and out editions of Becky Lynch and Dominic made the show more interesting. I think Noam Dar is pretty underrated, to be honest with
Did
you.
you see this?
Yeah, I did see that. That was awesome. That was awesome. I'm gonna rate that. Uh, yeah. Look, man, I'm not. It's not all bad. I just can't. A lot of the non wrestling just isn't my thing. But nevertheless, do we have any other super chats left, Rob? Let's. This is the last. Get these in.
No, I think that was the last one for now.
All right.
Yeah,
If
I think
that's
that
the
was the last
case,
one.
folks, this was a ton of fun, and we really thank you for supporting. Please get those likes in before you get up out of here. Like the video. I need it to feed my children. This was Russell Pierce Face Off, the holiday special, part 1. Best of WWE, worst of WWE,
Oh
2023.
shit, we are already at 100 likes. Let's try to get 150 to 200 likes. Let's try to do that. But
That's kind of impossible to do in a minute. But nevertheless, get those likes in, guys. It helps us out and helps pay the bills. Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting us. I'll be with you guys tomorrow on Russell Pierce Worldwide, where I'll be joined by Joe Holbert and Monty, and we will break down the weekend's wrestling. We'll talk about Collision. A fucking great episode of Collision last night. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. We'll talk about SmackDown and some of the happenings of SmackDown. Randy Orton has signed with Friday Night SmackDown, and he RKO'd Nick Aldis in the process. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Collision. We'll talk about any other big things that came up in the weekend. I'm going to do some Stardom watching, actually, after this. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm actually going to watch a little bit of Stardom. I heard Azumi face Julia. I actually want to check that out.
You don't like women.
I do. I love women. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to check that out, give my opinions on that. But nevertheless, guys, for Rob.
Also, I will hit Manny up later, and we will attempt to do a Raw watch along tomorrow. So be there for that.
Why are you making Manny watch Raw again, bro?
What do you mean making? He's going to watch for CM Punk, bro.
Why? He's probably not even going to be on the show.
Oh,
don't do that to Manny, man. Don't do that to Manny.
Manny was popping for half of it.
Don't do that to Manny, guys. For Rob, I'm your host, Ibu Russell Pierce, back of Hangman. I'll catch you guys next time.
I know where I won't be. Best of 8.